Hello everyone. Welcome to session 1 of LTEC 676, Social and Ethical Issues in Educational Technology. My name is Dan Hoffman, and I'll be your instructor this semester. My background is in instructional design and media, and I've been involved in the field of education for many years. In fact, I've had the privilege of working with students at every level from pre-K all the way to graduate school. In addition to teaching, my background includes research focusing on the design and development of digital learning environments. My work in this area has spanned across content areas, age groups, and formal and informal settings. And all of this has given me some insight into the complex relationships between education and technology. So now that you know a bit about me, let's get into the details of LTEC 676. So what is a course called the Social and Ethical Issues in Educational Technology all about? Well, at the highest level, it is a course about society, which we'll define as a group of people who live in a defined geographic area, who interact with one another, and who share a common culture. Of course, all societies, in particular our 21st century society, have what we call social issues or problems. These are the conditions or behaviors that have negative consequences for large numbers of people in the society. And of course, examples of these social issues include poverty, all kinds of inequities, criminality, and a lack of civic engagement. Most societies don't just stand by and let these problems fester. Instead, they develop any number of institutions designed to improve conditions for members of the group. As educators, we all know that one of the main institutions in modern society is formal education. And that's the social institution that we use to teach our children basic academic knowledge, learning skills, and cultural norms. Another institution, which is more emergent in nature, is technology. Of course, technology is the application of science or knowledge to address a specific problem. This can be as simple as using a sharpened stone to cut something, all the way to building a rocket to send someone to the moon. I like to think about technology as a modification of the natural world, a modification that's done to fulfill some sort of human need or desire. And as we all know, both institutions, education and technology, have had and continue to have an impact on society, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. In this course, we'll be focusing on the intersection of these two societal institutions, zeroing in on educational technology. So, what is educational technology? Educational technology is defined as the study and ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. Notice that I've highlighted two phrases in this definition: technological processes and resources, the what of educational technology, and facilitating learning and improving performance, the why of educational technology. This brings us to an important guiding question that we'll be examining in LTEC 676. To what extent are these technological processes and resources actually facilitating learning and improving performance? Are these technologies having the promised impact? And if so, how do we know? Now, let's take a look at a second guiding question. To what extent is educational technology impacting, directly or indirectly, one or more of the well-documented, persistent societal issues of the day? In other words, is educational technology helping or hurting society? And again, how do we know? As we'll learn this semester, there are a lot of very smart people who disagree on the answers to these big questions. So that's a 30,000-foot view of LTEC 676. Now let's take a closer look at the three main learning objectives for the course. The first objective states that we will understand, analyze, and evaluate the complex interactions between education and technology. And how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to study the nature of technology. We're also going to reconsider the goals and ideals of formal education. We're also going to investigate critical perspectives on the impact of technology on teaching and learning. Our second objective states that we will analyze and evaluate the social and ethical impact of new and existing educational technologies. And how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to explore what technological equity means in the context of schooling. We're also going to examine the promise and pitfalls of educational technology. And finally, we're going to review issues related to the legal and ethical use of the internet and software. Our third and final objective for the course states that we will create digital artifacts that demonstrate how to use various technologies to increase equity and benefit all learners. And we'll do this by using a variety of communication forms to build ideas, negotiate understanding, and develop our own thoughts. And finally, we'll leverage various online technologies to monitor important current events and movements in the area of social and ethical issues in education. So now I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about some of the basics of the course. Essentially the structure and the tools that are going to allow this online asynchronous course to happen. So as you all know, if you're watching this video, our learning management system for the semester is going to be Canvas. And when you first log in, there's some important information and links that I want you to be familiar with. In the overview module, you'll see three things: the course syllabus, the office hour sign-up sheet, and the virtual office. If you click on the course syllabus, that's a Google document that you can view. And I encourage everyone in the first week to go through and read carefully the syllabus. The office hour sign-up sheet also takes you to another Google document, but this one you can edit. And this is the space where you will sign up for office hours when and if you need them. And as you can see, there are already dates listed for this Wednesday. And all you need to do is put your name down and let me know which course you want to talk about, and also whether you want to meet in person in my office in West Hall, or would you rather meet virtually using Zoom. And that brings us to the third link. If you're not familiar with Zoom, you can learn more at zoom.us, and the URL, which is also in the office hour sign-up sheet to my personal Zoom room, is zoom.us/my/danhoff. Another important thing is updating your Canvas profile. Now here's an example of a student from a previous class, and you'll notice in her profile she has some important information. First, you're going to notice she has a profile picture, and also she has her degree level, her degree program and year, and then there's a little bit of additional information about her background. This helps me as an instructor, as well as your classmates, get to know who's in the course and some of the previous experience that you're bringing. If you need help updating your Canvas profile, there are many YouTube videos explaining how to do that. I've linked to one here called Canvas, How to Edit Your Profile. So definitely check that out if you need help. Now I want to talk a little bit about the typical weekly structure. Each module that will be released week to week throughout the semester will look something like this. Now this is just a sample, but let's go through this section by section. The first section is the presentation section. And in most weeks you will have a dedicated presentation file which you are responsible for viewing. In the next section you'll see the readings for this particular session. Now pay attention, there may be more than one reading, and as you can see here it says reading 1, reading 2, and they both happen to be required readings. Now sometimes the readings will be optional, so they're not necessarily required, but they're recommended and something you definitely want to read or put on the back burner as something you may want to look at when you get a chance. And then finally there's the assignment section of each session. Now the assignment section often will have a number of different things that you need to be working on. Now pay attention, just because the assignments are in the same session, they may have different due dates, which you can see down underneath the title of each assignment. So pay attention to those due dates. At times, you will have multiple due dates in a given week. Finally, I want to end by sharing a few tips for success in this online asynchronous course. First, please review the presentation files carefully. You are responsible for the information covered in those files. Secondly, it's important that you read the assigned readings and you take notes. And when you are asked to complete a critical reflection assignment, it's your responsibility to cite the readings and to make the connection between the assignment and the readings. Finally, I encourage you to plan ahead on assignments. Many of the assignments will involve multiple steps across multiple sittings. So please don't save them to the last minute, or else you'll really catch yourself in a bind. Finally, monitor your own understanding. Ask for help when you need it. I'm here to support you. You can sign up for office hours whenever you need or want help. It's my job to help you be successful. That's all for this course introduction. I welcome you all, and I look forward to seeing you in Canvas. Have a great week, everyone.